Sameach, brothers and sisters across the globe. This is your brother Kazak from MalachiMinistries.org. I was not going to do a video, but I felt led to do this brief video on the subject of the feast, the memorial of blowing of trumpets. Okay, just wanted to blow the trumpet or the shofar on this day of the memorial of trumpets. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video, I'm going to be very brief because many people don't know the difference between Rosh Hashanah and the memorial blowing of trumpets. Very quickly, I'm going to go because a lot of people don't understand the difference between the two. So we're going to explain to you the difference between Rosh Hashanah and the memorial of trumpets, and we're going to explain to you what is the significance of the memorial blowing of trumpets in this brief video. Okay? First, I want to begin by saying Rosh Hashanah, by way of definition, comes from the Hebrew Rosh, which means head, Ha-the, and Shana or Shana means the beginning of the year. So we don't celebrate the beginning of the year because, straight to the point, there are not two beginning of the year in the calendar year. You have the beginning and you have the end. Okay, so the memorial blowing of trumpets we find in Leviticus 23 verse 24. Let's read that very quickly. Leviticus 23 and 24 says, "Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the seventh month, in the first day of the month, shall be a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation." Okay, so that one verse I just wanted to single out. It is the seventh month. The blowing of the trumpet is the seventh month. The only thing new about this month is, only thing I should say new is that it's a new month, not a new year. Okay, we're not celebrating a new year. Okay, we're celebrating a new month, and we're celebrating the seventh month specifically, which is attached to the feast, or I should say the memorial blowing of trumpets, as we read in Leviticus 23. Now, in Exodus chapter 12, how do we know that this is not the new year, that this is the seventh month? We've already given you one particular reference. Now let's go to Exodus 12 and verse 2. Exodus chapter 12, verse 2. We're going to show you how we know when the new year is, okay? And that this is not the new year, but this is the seventh month, as we've read already, okay? Exodus 12, chapter 12, and verse 2. My page is sticking here. It says, let's start at verse 1. And Yah spoke unto Moshe and Aharon in the land of Egypt, saying, "This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing for the sake of time. You can read that in your own private time. But chapter 12 basically is talking about the time of Passover, which is the first month or the beginning of the year. So we cannot have the beginning of the year happening in the seventh month, as we've detailed already. It is the seventh month. It is not the beginning of the year. It is the seventh month. It is the end of the year, actually. Okay. Now, what is the significance? Okay. We're going to go to Psalms 81 verse 3. Okay. We're going to show you what the scripture says about the blowing of the shofar. Why we blow the shofar briefly is for several reasons. But this is primarily what we're going to use as to why we blow the shofar, okay, in this particular instance. Psalms 81 verse 3 says, "Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed of our solemn feast day." So we're blowing the trumpet, blowing the shofar at the time of the appointed time and at the time of the new month. So this is significant of a new month and an appointed time. An appointment time that we have set apart in our calendar out of our busy days to memorialize, right, this particular time, to set it apart for the Most High, for spiritual purposes. Okay? You can set apart spiritual days all the time, but this is one specific time where the Most High says set this time apart. Now, the trumpet also signifies the end of time. Because if we go to Matthew chapter 24, this is what the Messiah, Yahshua HaMashiach, said to Israel, to the disciples during the time when he was on the face of the earth. Okay? Matthew 24, verse 31. And it reads as follows. Okay? And he shall send his angel with a great sound of the trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. So the trumpet is the last trumpet, because in Revelation, there are 7 trumpets in Revelation that deal with the end time prophecies. The 7th is the last trumpet. Okay, now, what the Messiah is talking about is in conjunction with what Paul, Shaul, the apostle, said in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. So let's go there right quick. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52. One verse we're going to read there. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52. And it reads as follows. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52. And it says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. See that? So at that, what he says, the last trump. Now that connects with 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. It says, for the Master himself shall descend from heaven with the shout, with the voice of the archangel, and the trump of Elohim, and the dead in the Messiah shall rise first. So that trump of Elohim is the trump that the Most High is going to blow during the time of gathering the elect from the four corners, which is the last trumpet. Now let's go to Isaiah 23 into the Tanakh, and we're going to show you Isaiah 27 and verse 13. Or Yoshiyahu chapter 27, verse 13. And it reads as follows. Verse 13 says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship Yah in the holy mountain in Jerusalem. You see that? So the Most High is going to gather Israel, who was scattered according to the prophecies. All the prophecies talking about Israel was scattered to the four corners. At the end of time, Deuteronomy chapter 30 speaks of it. The Most High said he gathered his elect from the four corners, which connects with Matthew 24, which we just read. So now this trumpet, the last trumpet, is all about getting the people of Israel ready to go back home, and those who will be joined to Israel to be gathered together. Okay? Now, I'm not going to make this a very long lesson because I got 100,000 other scriptures I can add to this, but I'm trying to get straight to the point. Okay, now let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah 51, verse 27. You hear me, Yahoo? Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 27. And it reads, he says, set up the standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her kingdoms of Ararat, many Ashkenaz, and appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as a rough caterpillar. See that? So the trumpet is being blown because the trumpet is significant of gathering Israel, as well as significant is a call to battle. Okay? Now, let's go very quickly over to, try not to be too repetitious, but let's go to Zechariah chapter 9. Chapter 9, Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 14. All right, Zechariah, chapter 9, and verse 14. Okay? Okay. And Yah shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning. And Yah Elohim shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with whirlwinds of the south. And Yah host shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine. And they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. So the Most High is going to blow that trumpet. That's what trumpet is significant of, right? Because he's going to overthrow the governments. So we gave you Zechariah 9:4. Now let's go to Zechariah 14. It says, behold, the day of Yah comes, and the spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. So the day of Yah is the day that the Most High takes over the governments, and he rules the governments right here in the land. We're going to show you that in a minute, okay? So he says, I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, the houses rifled, the women ravished, and the half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yah go forth and fight against those nations as he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof towards the east and towards the west, and there shall be a great valley. And half the mountain shall remove towards the north, and half towards the south. And you shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yes, you shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziyahu, king of Yehudah. And Yah, my Elohim, shall come, and all the saints with thee. So we've given you Zechariah 14 as verses 1 through 5, which is talking about the ingathering, because the trumpet announces the end, which is the beginning. So technically, we're not in the beginning yet. The trumpets is significant of the end of the Gentile reign and the beginning of the kingdom age, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, now, so we're going to Zechariah 14. Now, let's go to Daniel 7, okay? Daniel 7, then we're going to tie that with Revelation, and then we're going to, I may mention there's some things we'll show you, okay? So Daniel chapter 7, let's go to Daniel chapter 7 and start at verse 18. Daniel chapter 7, verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom. See that? So when that battle takes place, when that last trumpet is blown, the saints of the Most High is going to take the kingdom. Watch what he says here. Saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all other exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were as iron and his nails of brass, and devour, break in pieces and stamp the residue with his feet. Okay? Now, the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Okay, now, I beheld the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and a time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Okay? Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of the kingdoms are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. That's why we see all this battle and stuff going on around the land of Israel, because it's all prophecy, because they're getting ready for the great battle. The trumpet is about to be blown, the last trump, okay? 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. Verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdoms under the whole heaven. So nobody's going up into heaven, but the kingdom is coming to the earth. We're going to show you in a minute. Shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. So now we see Daniel giving us great detail about what? This overrunning of the government of the world. Okay, now Revelation. We know the world celebrates Christmas, and there's a specific song that they sing, but it's quoted from Revelation, which we're going to read. Revelation chapter 11. Most people don't understand the significance of this, so we're going to kind of briefly give it to you. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 15. It says, and the 7th angel sounded, and there was a great voice in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our master and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. See that? So the 7th angel, or the 7th trumpet, if you go to Revelation, we don't have time to go there, but there's 7 trumpets in Revelation which are significant, which are judgments. And at the last trumpet is when the last trumpet is blown, where the Most High takes over the governments of this world. And he rules, okay? Where does he rule from? Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 2. Okay, Isaiah chapter 2, or Yoshiyahu chapter 2. And I'm just about finished. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 2. We're going to go two places as a confirmation of one to the other. Okay, Isaiah chapter 2, Yoshiyahu chapter 2. All right, let's start at verse 2. We're going to read verse 2 and 3. It says, "It shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it." So that's talking about the government that's going to take place on the earth, ruled from the land. Watch what he says here. "And many people shall go and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of Yah, to the house of Elohim of Yaakov. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yah from Jerusalem." Verse 4, "And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks, and nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." See that? So now, that is when the Messiah, at the last trumpet is blown, he takes over the governments of this world. And what happens then, brothers and sisters? Now it starts the kingdom age. Now, let's go to Micaiah as a confirmation to what we just shared with you. We're going to read verse 1 and 2. Okay? "But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yah shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow into it. And many nations shall," this is what we just read in Yoshiyahu or Isaiah, "shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of Yah and the house of Elohim of Yaakov, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yah from Jerusalem." Here he says it again, verse 3. "And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords and plowshares and their spears and their pruning hooks, and nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid, and the mouth of Yah of hosts have spoken it." Right? Now, let me read verse 5. It says, "For all the people will walk everyone in the name of his Elohim, and we will walk in the name of Yah or Elohim forever and ever." Okay? Verse 6 said, "In that day, says Yah, will I assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast afar off a strong nation. And Yah shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth forever." So at the last trump is when the Most High is gathering Israel back to Jerusalem, where we came from, as well as those who are going to be a part of the covenant of Israel. Okay, now, I don't go off into too much great detail, all right, because there's other components of that. So, but primarily, Israel's going to be gathered back. Those that were scattered are going to be gathered back, as we just read, okay, into the land, which connects with Deuteronomy chapter 30. So I would advise you to read Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 1 through about 6 or 7 or so. Revelation chapter 19. Let's go to Revelation chapter 19, right? Revelation chapter 19. And we're going to start at let's start at verse 15, I think. Revelation chapter 19. All righty. Let me just get there. Okay, I got a new Bible. Revelation chapter 19. And let's start here. And verse 13. "And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of Elohim. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a two-edged sword, a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and tread the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty Elohim. And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written," right? And it was called, okay, he had on his vesture a name written, "King of Kings and Master of Masters." Okay, now, so that's Revelation 19:15. Now let's go over to Revelation chapter 20 as we close this out for this this memorial blowing of trumpets. Okay, Revelation chapter 20. All right, start chapter 20. Let's start at verse 1. Okay, and I saw the angel come down having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Right? So this starts the reign, or the 1,000 years of ruling on the earth, which is what the Messiah promised, not back in heaven, but on the earth. Okay? Now, it says, verse 2, and he laid hold on the dragon, the serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into a bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed for a little season. Okay, verse 4. And it says, and I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahshua, and for the word of Elohim, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the Messiah 1,000 years. Right? See that? So the 1,000 years is the trumpet, this shofar that we blowed earlier, is blown because it announces what? The end of the Gentile reign. It announced what? The beginning of the kingdom age. It announced what? The rulership of righteousness on earth with the absence of what? Wickedness. The power of darkness, if you will. Okay? Now, so verse 5. But the rest of the dead live not again till 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Verse 6. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death had no power. But they shall be priests. Watch this now. Priests of Elohim and of Hamashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So as I close, the significance, and prayerfully you got it, of the memorial of trumpets, it is not the new year. It signifies the 7th month. It signifies what? The end. It is prophetically shadowing the end of the Gentile reign, the end of the wicked rulership of this world, the kingdoms of this world, who are become the kingdoms of the Most High himself and his son, and the righteous, the seed of the Most High, those that follow the covenants and have the testimony of Yahshua. I pray you got something out of this particular sharing. And until the next time, may the blessings of the Most High Yah be with you and your family. Shalom, shalom, Kasameyak, hallelujah.